Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of Truth by Billie Beene. Special report, today's date, October 24, 2022, new. This is my third YouTube channel. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share. Episode 448, Ukraine preps a dirty nuke, and the NATO and US prep to invade Belarus. Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot subscribers, BPEarthwatch, Israeli News Live, Alex Christoforos, Scott Ritter, Hal Turner, Military Summary, Canadian Prepper, Andrei Martyanov, Beston Taylor, and more. So let's get started. I have a Patriot subscriber from Romania who says the people of Romania want peace. And that's true of all people of all nations. It's our deep state evil who have taken control of our governments, who are pushing this evil agenda for war, and nuclear war at that. Okay. We've been seeing this special military operation go on inside Ukraine since February, but it's been going on since 2014 when the evil shadow part of the U.S. government, headed up by Victoria Nuland, deposed and put in place a coup against the people of Ukraine and took out their elected leader and put in the deep state's puppet actor leaders. I think Zelensky's been in for a few years, so they had a different person in 2014. And since 2014, NATO, with U.S. taxpayer dollars, has put in billions of dollars. After all, from 2014, the deep state's agenda was to destroy the economy of the United States and the economy of Germany and Europe. And it's perking right along. Since then, out of the U.S., hundreds of billions of dollars. And now that the Dems in the current U.S. government are seeing in November they might be taken out of power, they're putting forth right now $50 billion. We got to get out of the United States, away from the American people, and into our pockets. And that's going on. It's always been about money and power for the deep state. Okay, so now we have Russia. They've recently annexed Donetsk, Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhzhia. And when it comes down, we've got Crimea, and we've got over to Russia. We have that little bridge right there that had that blow up recently. Okay, since 2014, NATO, backed by the U.S. tax dollar, strip out every dollar you can from America, steal it from the American people, but keep them engaged with that mainstream media on their TV sets, so they don't wake up. Okay, so that's been going on, and it's NATO who has, it's the U.S. taxpayer who's been paying for the NATO military inside Ukraine and other nations. Now what's going on? We have this. So we have Belarus. We have Kiev. All right, so what we have going on now is that the deep state, and let's be clear, the deep state is made out of the shadow parts of all governments. That's NATO, all their governments. That's Ukraine, England, that's the U.S. All working together at the top, deep state, evil and corrupt, and definitely not put in place by the people of any nation, because they control everything. All right. So now in Kiev, there's evidence from multiple sources that a dirty nuke, and a dirty nuke is a conventional nuke that has some radioactive material put in it, is going to be launched by NATO from Kiev, and most likely against the dam that then would take out the Beforeitsnews cooling part for the Beforeitsnews nuclear power plant. Also flood all this area and cut off drinking water to Crimea. So a dirty nuke. And then the deep state is going to put it in place and say, oh, it was Russia, Russia, Russia. And never mind, here we have Poland. We have tens of thousands of troops here, including U.S. troops. From the beginning inside Ukraine, we had 10,000 U.S. troops, according to Dr. William Mount. In Romania, we currently have 4,700 Screaming Eagles, the 101st Airborne, the first time in 80 years they've been on European soil, put there by the deep state. Okay, and they're currently 3 miles or 3 kilometers or about 5 miles from the border, saying, oh, if Russia takes Odessa, that's a threat to NATO. NATO is a coalition of nations headed up by the deep state, evil individuals not put in place by the voting of any people on earth, just like the bloodline families, Rothschilds and Rockefellers and other families, and we control, and we then have people in place, we blackmail, we control. Okay, so Alex Cristoforo is bringing this out. Yeah, we have that CBS report about the 101st Screaming Eagles under the command of Colonel Edwin Mathias inside Romania. So that's going on. Military summary. And multiple sources were talking about over the weekend of the Minister of Defense of Russia, Shoigu. He had several phone calls with the Blinken of the United States, a deep stater, and also Macron, deep stater, and we understand Macron now has ran off to Rome to meet with the deep state Vatican Pope. Not even the real Pope, according to Benjamin Fulford, but one replaced with a actor puppet. That's how the deep state likes to perform. They put out avatars. You get out there and say what we tell you to say. All right, so then we have this. So General Shoigu of the Russian Minister of Defense over the weekend spoke to France, the U.S., Britain, Turkey about a dirty bomb being implemented inside Ukraine. And Russia has information now that this is being built. This dirty nuke is being put together right now. They have intel on it. And Shoigu, Ukraine is building a dirty nuke and they want to blame Russia. All right. Then Shoigu, General Shoigu, is saying inside Kiev are 2 companies that have been given the job to build the dirty nuke, and they're in the final stages. And Ukraine talks to Britain for Britain to move the nuclear material to Kiev. Did you ever see the movie The Sum of All Fears? Okay, and that's why Ben Wallace rushed to the U.S., flew to the U.S. a few days ago to meet with the shadow U.S. government and the shadow U.S. military. Yeah, we've got that nuke material going on. It's coming out of Britain and it's going to Kiev. Okay, Hal Turner. Mykolaiv. This is a little city right here. Ukraine wants to put in a nuke. So we also have this, that From Israeli News Live, Stephen Ben-Nun, tens of thousands of NATO and U.S. troops right here in Poland. They're prepping to invade Belarus. Now, what's going on with the numbers of troops that we have in place? And also China, just a few days, maybe in the last 4 or 5 days, warned its citizens to get out of Ukraine. And then the next day it said get out of all the countries around Ukraine. What does China know? Okay, so we have this going on. We have troop numbers. Here's Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhzhia. Right here, according to Gene Code and other sources, we have 220,000 Russian military. Up here we have at least 9,000 Russian military plus. We have 70,000 Belarus, but I'm believing the number here is much higher. So we have in Romania, we know 4,700, that's the 101st Airborne. Poland, we have NATO and US, tens of thousands. All right. So now we have Kiev firming up and getting the nuclear material from Britain. And they have 2 companies working on it. And then they're going to be releasing it. And we have, just recently, that's from New Atlas, Russian intel. Ukraine is going to use a prohibited weapon. NATO is going to use a prohibited weapon, a dirty nuke. And we had recently, this is Hal Turner, undersea cables were cut to southern France and Scotland and to other areas. And we had from WWIIII, I submit that was a test when the GPS went down for the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport on October 22nd. We had Best and Taylor. China says evac. The next day they said evac all the countries around Ukraine. And we have Scott Ritter. This is going on. Kherson and Ukraine. Russia's been able to repel all their tentative movements. But right now, what's going on is a dirty nuke is in play right here. Intel is coming out. The nuclear material is coming from Britain. There are 2 companies putting it together, and it can be transported by car. And I submit they're going to take it from Kiev, maybe down to this Mykolaiv. But let's be clear, there are underground tunnels also. But for sure, to take out the dam, I would guess, is they'll use a dirty nuke, a small one, take out this dam. That's going to put off that Beforeitsnews nuclear power plant, and then Katie bar the door, because then this nuclear radiation is going to spread where? Take out all of Ukraine, all into Russia, Belarus, all over to Europe. So what we need to do is have truth in front of us and on the table, know what's going on, and pray, because who's in charge? That would be God. Do we believe God is going to allow his sons and daughters to be taken out all over the earth? Absolutely not. So, I think it's good to remember God is in charge and he is on the move. And we have seraphim angels down here helping us fight against all this evil. I love you, and I'll see you soon.